Alright, I think we should be live and streaming now. I'm going to give people a chance to come in. A small handful of people I expect to see tonight. Those of you who are able to make it, welcome. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way in. As a brief introduction to tonight's video, the topic of tonight's video is going to be discussing some of the myths, lies, and misinformation being spread about Coppa, spam, and harassment by the so-called sector, Ghetto Sector YouTube, I guess you could call it. A few weeks ago, I tried to purge my channel of all things and people that were a part of Ghetto YouTube. It just so happens I still have leftover remnants of the sector in my algorithm. I know that a handful of my subs still may like some of my content, but still may be either Team Phi Babe, Team Tracy, Team Sean Bradley, Team TSCC, or whatever. Some of you may not know what any of that means, and that's for the better. But for those of you who do, you get my point. I'm not going to ask you to choose between me or them. You have the right to like whatever you like. Just for me personally, dealing with uneducated bottom feeders that stalk, dox, harass, and are overall just messy people, that's just not my bag. That's not my thing. It's a free country, though. Out of sheer boredom, even I would listen to some of that garbage myself because, who doesn't want to see a train wreck, right? But I do get bored with it very quickly because deep down I know it's not for me because, number one, I'm a heterosexual man. And number two, I have a life of my own. Usually you have to say something really funny or meaningful or entertaining to keep my attention. And if all you're doing is talking and you ain't really talking about shit, you won't hold my attention. See, Ghetto YouTube appeals to the hive-minded, scorned sister girls who call themselves queens and their angry gay male counterparts who also call themselves queens. They will kiss the behind of any creator with clout and even be willing to defend them on a personal level, all because they don't have a life of their own. One creator's people even threatened to report a video I made defending myself for calling out a creator who made a video about me. And they were very serious. These followers and sycophants don't realize what absolute suck-ups they look like. But they do it for attention because they don't get attention in their real life. And they do it to get closer to the content creator for whatever reason. Again, I can't think of anything more pathetic. These same people go around YouTube spreading lies and misinformation, not just about themselves or the people they don't like, but recently there's been a lot of misunderstanding about YouTube's new policies regarding Coppa, spam, and harassment. My goal for tonight's video is to clear all that up once and for all so that people aren't running around scared and paranoid about losing their channels or worse, losing their Gmail accounts. One of these BS myths going around is that, for instance, if you type a certain number of digits or a link in a chat during a live feed, the video will be taken down, flagged, or demonetized. I know to most of y'all that sounds stupid, but to the Ghetto Sector, that's right. You lose your channel. Don't let nobody type no numbers in your chat. Or if you type more than 3 emojis in the chat, the video will lose views. That's another myth. Now, this isn't coming from content creators with 100,000 subs. This misinformation is coming from people with only 100 or 200 subs. It's coming from people that just learned how to use StreamYard 2 months ago. It's coming from creators who say, hey, come network on my channel. And the moment that you promote or drop a link, You get a slap on the wrist either by a moderator or get a nasty response from the host, even though they invited you to come to network. You have to play this stupid guessing game about who's a creator and who isn't, or just click every name in the chat and subscribe to them without knowing anything about them or their channel. See, I talk to creators all the time who are frustrated about not being able to grow their channels. But I have to turn it back around on them. Are you using common sense best practices like tagging the video with keywords, creating a decent thumbnail, promoting on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and the community page? They're not doing any of that, but they will create some stupid arbitrary rule that you have to follow in their chat or risk getting kicked out because of some rumor they heard about somebody else's channel. I mean, if you're only getting 50 to 100 views to begin with, you don't need to be running off viewers from your chat. Running off grown people with childish made-up rules is not going to grow your platform. Instead of listening to third-party information and being paranoid about losing my channel or losing my Gmail account or being afraid to express myself, I decided to get the facts about Coppa and some of the new rules around YouTube. The first one I want to discuss specifically is Coppa. But for those of you who don't know what that means, Coppa is the new Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. It's similar to HIPAA in the medical field, where it's there to protect your privacy and your rights as a patient. Coppa does the same thing for children online. Now, I was in a chat earlier that's been like many chats that I've been in the past 2 or 3 weeks where people are discussing Coppa or Coppa. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but COPPA. They, I don't know, they seem to have this major misunderstanding about what it's about. First off, let's talk about what it is. Is your content made for kids? That's not saying, is it okay for a kid to watch? That's a whole different question. The question is your video made for kids? Either it is made for kids or it's not. It's pretty much straightforward. Here are the deciding factors of whether that you should consider whether your video is made for kids or not. This is coming from YouTube, not from me. I didn't make this up. This is from the horse's mouth, not some flunky with 1,000 subs that just started their channel a year ago that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Subject matter of the video, aka is it for educational content, preschoolers, etc. Whether children are your intended or actual audience for the video. Whether the video includes children or child actors. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon characters. Whether the language of the video is intended for kids. Whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, songs, or games, or early education. That should pretty much make it clear. If you're on here making hair weave videos, chances are your videos are not for kids. If you're a 45, 50-year-old woman, sitting up talking about different recipes or hair treatments or whatever, that is very inane and innocent content, but it still may not be geared for kids. What is a kid? A kid is defined in the United States as anyone under the age of 13. So, again, as a point of reference in the chat that I was in earlier, it seems like there's this fear of hitting the restrict button or the 18 plus button on a video. I can tell you right now, this video is not for children. It's not for anyone under the age of 18. But they're still going to show a commercial at the beginning of this video because I haven't monetized. And I didn't plan on going too far to the left tonight as far as language or being offensive. So for the most part, this video should stay monetized. But it's definitely not for kids. When I play my video game and I play live, I use profanity. That's not for kids, even though I'm playing a game. It may be something that attracts children. It's not for them. Now, should I be afraid that I can't grow my channel because I can't sell to kids? That's not how this works, y'all. This unfounded fear that you have over this thing is silly. Is your content made for kids? Yes or no? If it's not, before you create your video, go to the YouTube studio and click not for kids. They're going to require you to do that anyway. I think it happens twice within the process of making a video. I know it did for me tonight. I had two options to click to make sure that I knew my audience. Now, how do I know if I should set my content as not made for kids? They answer the question for you. If you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. According to guidance from the FTC, if your video features actors, characters, activities, games, songs, stories, or other subject matter that reflect an intent to target children, it's likely made for kids. A video is not necessarily made for kids just because it's safe or appropriate for everyone to watch. It covers an activity that's traditionally associated with children, or children may incidentally see it. So, again, it just sounds like common sense to me. It doesn't sound like anything to be afraid of. As a creator, you know your videos and your audience best, and it's your legal responsibility to comply with Coppa and the other applicable laws that designate your content accurately. If you fail to categorize accurately, there may be consequences. So, yeah, just be smart. I mean, again, it just sounds like common sense. Let's also talk about spam, deceptive practices, and scam policies. Again, this goes to that myth that I've been hearing that if you put certain things in a person's chat, it'll get them kicked off of Google and these other lies. I think most of the people in my algorithm are over 30, right? I think most of the people are pretty smart. Like I said, I'm looking in the chat right now, and I have some of my favorite content creators in the house right now. Let's see, everything Star Wars. What's up, homie? Kitty's Corner, Tarot. Glad to see you. River been out. The Truth. Leander's Vines, my YouTube wife. Lady Terror. River been out. My one of my OGs. And Nate Love. Hey, I'm glad you were able to catch the live. And Redhead Redneck. Glad to see you here as well. So I got a lot of content creators here. Again, most of us are adults, we're grown, and we know what it is to spam somebody. Video spam, content that's successfully posted, repetitive or untargeted. If you do clickbait, promise viewers something they'll see, but it takes them somewhere else. I see that a lot during the Super Bowl, NBA playoffs. They'll have like a 30-second video that says, hey, Patriots versus Bears, 7 o'clock Super Bowl, click here. And then all of a sudden it takes you to off-site Russian gambling website, everything but the game. Of course, that's common sense. That's spam. Metadata, thumbnails, tricking people into seeing content that's something that it's not. Voter suppression. Going out telling everybody, hey, we need all Georgia voters to make it to the polls by 9 p.m. this evening. And the polls close at 7. Voter suppression was a big one back in 2018. Census engagement as well. Content aiming to mislead participants by the time, means, or eligibility requirements for participating in a census. None of us are really doing any of this. But another one of the spam things that came up was using too many emojis in a chat. I've never seen anyone be penalized for using too many emojis. But again, if you use common sense, you're not going to put 15 or 20 consecutive emojis. Somebody says something funny, you show love by posting a couple of emojis, to show emotion or to say what it is that you're thinking without using a lot of words. We all do. But there's no such rule or law that says if you put too many emojis in the chat that you'll be removed, unless it's considered spam, where people can't chat themselves. You have to be timed out. It becomes abusive. And you may do it not knowingly. You may do it being tipsy. You may have done it all the time. It's just be smart about what you do. And you don't have to worry about losing your profiles. The next thing, content restriction. That's another important one. Restricted mode is an optional setting that has been available since 2010. People like libraries, schools, public institutions use restricted mode because they want to control the content that they see, and it's usually nothing that involves drugs, alcohol, sexual situation, violence, mature subject matter, profane language, or incendiary, demeaning content. One of my first Black consciousness videos got flagged because I had mature subject matter in regards to the Black experience. So that video got bumped up to 18 plus. A couple of my midnight rides where the poetry got a little more racy, it actually got bumped up to adult content. If you listen to the midnight ride, you know that almost every one of those videos should be adult content. I shouldn't even try to fight that. Again, it's common sense. I'm not going to get the same promotion or exposure as, say, a PewDiePie who makes the kind of videos that are made or geared for kids. I also give you the Fine Brothers as an example. If you're not familiar with the Fine Brothers, they have the React channel. And it's an awesome platform. I love React. I like to see the kids react. I like to see the elders react to everything from music, video games, pop culture, whatever. You get to see it, how different people from different generations respond and react to it. They're very careful about how they promote their videos because they do have a kids react section that does involve kids. So again, this stuff is pretty common sense. Just, hold on, let me check the chat real quick. But restricted mode is not going to hurt your channel. It's not perfect, but it's not going to throttle you to the point to where your word can't be heard or people aren't going to be able to see you. Again, if you promote your own videos, if you go to YouTube and go to the community page, if you go to Reddit, if you go to Facebook, if you go to Twitter, and you post links in certain groups, you get with the moderator there and say, "Hey, I'm a YouTuber. Can I please post in your group so that like-minded people can watch my video?" 9 times out of 10, if you're cool about it, or hit them on the DM and ask the creator, they'll say, "Sure, go ahead." Especially if it's something they're interested in, or if they get to promote themselves. So, if you're afraid that YouTube is stopping you from doing anything, my advice would be reach out. Most of the questions you have, like I got a question the other day from a creator who had over 1,000 people in her chat for the first time ever. But it only shows now like 250 to 300 actual views for the video. She has screenshots as evidence to show how many people she had in her chat. You take that information, and what I say is go to YouTube. Send them an email from your Gmail account that's attached to your YouTube and ask the actual question, or go to the YouTube forums, because 9 times out of 10, there's nothing happening on YouTube that people haven't asked before. But walking around being misinformed, being paranoid, there's really no place for that. All right, let's see what we got here. Everything Star Wars says, I think defines is what scares people. And since they're really not specific about this, is what scares a lot of creators. Nay Love says, they can't even catch VS, so I'm not worried about the new rules. It's humanly impossible to review all the content that goes up when 500 hours of content goes up every minute. That's a great point. The only content creator that gets flags if you have a human hater. Huh. That's interesting. Let's see. The Truth says, I think they're talking about when they bombed the chat with hearts. Groups that would use the hearts to disrupt the chat. See, yeah, that's what I mean. It's abusive stuff like that, Truth, that I think they're cracking down on. Not just general, just general adult chat. Hey, let's see who else we got here. Hey, Sean Sandwich, glad to see you in the chat. Lady Tara. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base and clear that up because it's been very frustrating and annoying. And like I said, I don't have all the answers, but the best place to find the answers is on YouTube. Don't go to a third-party person who says they know somebody that knows somebody that was banned. Now, there was Markiplier, who is a very well-known YouTube gamer. He's right up there with PewDiePie and the rest of them. Some of his users mysteriously got removed from Google. They not only lost their Gmail, they lost their YouTube and everything else attached to Gmail. My best advice that I could give anybody is to not have that much of their self or their important information online that you can't print out and have in your home in a safe place. Do not trust your important data to a third-party entity to back up your life's most important data. That goes for YouTube. That goes for Yahoo, that goes for Gmail, whatever. Because you'd be surprised the resumes we have out there, information from our jobs, information from our businesses that we all have out there that we take for granted, that we can always just pull up our phone, grab it, and anytime we need to find that information is out there. We have to be a little bit smarter and know that these are not platforms we own or pay for, that they can shut them down at a moment's notice whenever they get ready, have some arbitrary rule that you broke, and all of a sudden you're sending emails and not getting answers. Same thing that happened to me when I got banned from Twitter. I never got an answer really why. All I got was a generic response from a robot talking about standards and practices. So yeah, I've always had a fear of losing my YouTube channel. But then I said, what do I have to lose? Because I don't use it for money. And I know there's a lot of people that say there's no reason to get on YouTube except to get paid. I look at it more as a hobby and as an outlet, not so much as a revenue stream. So I really wouldn't lose finances, if I lost my YouTube channel. I'm not going to lose my house. I'm not going to lose my car. I'm not going to lose my job. All I lose is an outlet to be able to share my opinion with the world. But then again, there's other outlets to do that. I can do that on Facebook. Let's do that on Twitter, Reddit. Well, I can't do it on Twitter anymore. But Reddit or any other source that or I could start a blog, start a website, or even use my Patreon. Yeah, I think now is the time to start thinking outside the box for new ideas. To say, what would I do if I lost my online profiles? What would I do if I lost that that outlet to the world, or that or that way for people to contact me, whether it's family members, friends, or job opportunities? It's time to start thinking of a plan B. How would you handle yourself? What would you do? Yeah, I want you guys to speak up too. Do you have any suggestions, or what would you have to offer as far as if you were to lose your Gmail tomorrow? And They Love says, I love the React videos. Yeah, shout out to the Fine Brothers. They do make good material. It is very entertaining. And everything Star Wars, if you're here, I certainly want to talk about the Mandalorian and the Dark Saber and all that good stuff. So if you're going to be up tonight, if you're not going to be gaming, we might need to talk. Nate Love says you're better off buying an external hard drive or creating your own cloud. There you go. That's good advice for anybody out here that is afraid of losing their platform, because the more outspoken you are, the more passionate you are about the things you believe, the better chance you run of crossing these people's path, because they're ultra liberal, they are very strict, and they have an agenda. Right now, they want to commercialize YouTube to have nothing but shows like The View and have green and purple haired LGBT representatives who are very benign and innate and very vanilla and very uncontroversial and very soft, and everything just has to be a certain way, just extremely liberal and no edge, no just a dull yogurt mayonnaise existence. And to me, life shouldn't be that way. Life should have a little bit of spice. There should be a little bit of controversy, a little bit of discord. That's the way that people come up with new ideas. It's the way decisions get made. But YouTube would rather have, if you look at the people that represent YouTube on their videos, there's not a whole lot of color. And all of them are these little perfectly trimmed people. All these little perfect people that represent their perfect platform, where they're going to create this utopia where there won't be any violence, there won't be any profanity. It's going to be a safe space for everyone to come and blah, blah, blah. Like I said, it makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about it. Redhead Redneck says, the sooner we leave YouTube and make another site, the manpower to grow, the better. And I think there are people out there that are working on other platforms. I've seen some of them, but they were just wishy-washy and fly-by-night, wanted to use cryptocurrency, and it all just felt too sketch for me. But I am open to suggestions for other platforms. I know that Queen Bianca Brooks, one of my favorite YouTubers, puts a lot of her content on her Patreon channel now for $1 a month. And I said, well, is Patreon eventually going to start censoring the same way that YouTube does? Because if they do, that's not an alternative. And Naylove says, Tracy has proof they really don't care about quality. No, they really don't. Like Truth says, YouTube only cares about the views for ads. And see, Tracy could pop up and be, let's say, Donna. And say Donna says and does every single thing that she does. Only Donna just started her channel. Donna's not going to make it. Donna may only get 100 subscribers and get stuck, where Tracy will still be able to say and do what she does and get away with it because she already has the following. If you don't already bring the following with you, you can't do what they do. Those days are pretty much over. But as far as like the doxing and putting people's pictures of their dead relatives and putting their personal information out and that kind of stuff, I can't do that. That's draws lines. And see, that's the things I feel like YouTube should enforce. I don't want to see anybody lose their channel. I'm no censor. I'll tell you, say what you want in my chat. Put what you want. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. But let's see. SD says there are other platforms, one by the lawyer Legal Eagle. If you guys know links to other platforms other than YouTube where people can freely express themselves without the commercialism or without the censorship, please definitely drop it down in the chat. Hot Anime Girl says, and welcome to the chat, Hot Anime Girl, we need justice. We need justice, we need freedom. That's the reason why I love my First Amendment auditors. Shout out to Big Nick, representing the 6, Miami-Dade County. Uh, Big Nick is First Amendment auditor who really represents the First Amendment, represents his freedom. He's a ex-soldier. And he doesn't mind getting in the face of authority, letting them know that, we still have a right to speak. We still have a right to free speech and freedom of expression. No matter how much online, tries to throttle that, especially the black message. Now, I'm not trying to make it all about race, but I've noticed that if you're black and considered militant or considered a black nationalist or any of that stuff, that it's almost treated like hate speech and put into 18 plus, even if you don't use profanity. Nate Love says YouTube just needs to keep it real and admit they cannot provide or guarantee a safe space. They are fake as fuck. Like I say, look at your, if you're a creator, read those newsletters or look at the videos attached to the newsletters. Look at the people delivering the message and tell me, would these people be your neighbors? Would these people be your coworkers? Or do they just seem a little too perfect, a little too spit and polish? There's something that's a little weird about them that is fake. What's up, Ear Hustler? Glad to see you here. Hot Anime Girl says we are content creators, not babysitters. That's absolutely right. If your badass kids want to go to my channel and watch the Midnight Ride for whatever reason, hell, maybe they like slow jams, I don't know. But if that's where they want to be, you got to control that. I can't stop them. And I'm not going to start putting that stupid shit in the middle of front of my video. In front of my videos. Oh, this video is for people over 18 only. Viewer discretion. No, I'm not doing that. No. People need to control what their kids do because they're not always playing games sitting in the back seat. People throw them a tablet. Those kids be in the bedroom, bathroom, some everything. You have no idea what they're watching. To me, I don't want my kid watching PewDiePie. I just think he's weird. Grown man acting like a child, and mostly children watch him and have made him rich. That's just something perverse about that to me. Okay, Naylove says TrueTube is a black-owned platform where you can do anything you're doing on YouTube. I'm going to write that down. I don't know what I'm going to do if this law passes. Why do you say that, Hot Anime Girl? Because I know that you're a new content creator now yourself. Congratulations on 77 subs. If you haven't already, which Hot Anime Girl is pretty new to my channel. See, you're a Steven Universe fan as well. Why do you feel like this law would hurt you? Kitty's Corner, you're also a content creator. Do you feel like the Coppa or the new harassment laws or any of the new rules that YouTube has implemented will affect your channel at all? Because, again, you have very mellow, relaxing content that is very non-offensive. Even though it's dealing with something esoterical, that's the only thing that I would see where they would want to put a label on it. But other than that, I've never heard you use profanity or anything like that. All right, Redhead Redneck says, and I just want to see the FTC fine people for not targeting kids, because if they don't have it set in stone, they have a problem on their hands. All right. Okay, Hot Anime Girl says, because I regularly like channels that focus on children themes but aren't very kid-friendly. I guess a good example of that would be like Adult Swim from Cartoon Network. They have G.I. Joe, Transformers, My Little Pony, but the things they have them doing are definitely not for kids. So again, you have the animation part of it. You have something, these are animated characters that were created for kids, but the way they're being utilized is totally not for kids. I mean, I guess in the same way that The Simpsons wasn't really for kids. If you think about it, sometimes the subject matter and the things Bart did, seemed like these were pretty bad influence even back in the early 90s. How the anime girl says, like Minecraft, less plays, but the guy playing the game would swear from time to time. I thought about those videos too, and that's the reason why, even though I'm only gaming, I'm tend to throw one out just messing with my dogs or whatever. So I said, well, just to be on the safe side. But how are you going to find someone? And then if a child is watching profanity anyway, if they're watching, let's say, the latest Terminator movie or something like that, and they're commenting on it, and then you go back and find me, well, are you going to find Terminator because he somehow watched it? I mean, how does that work at the theaters? If you're letting children under the age of 13 go into a R-rated movie with the parents' permission, but still, isn't that a violation, or do the parents have to give the okay? Like, if the parents say it's okay for my child to watch Sly Jones's videos, doesn't that make it okay? Who's suing who? Naylove says, if cyber harassment laws had any teeth, then VS or Tracy wouldn't have accounts, so I would find it very fake and hypocritical. Laws are only as good as the enforcement. No, I understand what you're saying, and not only that, but when it comes to that whole crew, somebody is profiting, and they're going to profit up until somebody gets seriously hurt or killed. I don't want that to happen to anybody. Pray to God it doesn't happen. But the worse this doxing gets, the worse the exposure gets, showing where people live, calling people's jobs, it's going to come to a head. I don't think it's YouTube's job to tell grown people what to do. But again, it's their platform. I don't own YouTube. You don't own YouTube. This is their playground. This is their toy. And they know that Tracy gets 300 to 400 viewers every live, and they know that that's profitable on their back end, and they're not going to cut their nose off to spite their face. They're not going to turn down that profit. They're watching. You don't think these videos aren't being watched for the people that hate Tracy, the people that hate VS? Do you know how many times those videos have been reported? How all of a sudden in the middle of her video, all of a sudden it just starts swirling, and it gets taken down, and then she's got to fight and appeal and do all this stuff to have it brought back up. But every time I watch her videos, they're advertising. Somebody's making money off of all this foolishness. What are some channels that I think would be taken down? Hot Anime Girl. I really don't think. Again, the onus is on the parents to see what their children are watching. It's the responsibility of the creator to mark whether their content is 18 plus or not. If they say it is not 18 plus and they cross certain lines, make certain adult jokes or certain references, it also comes to moderating their chat. If you do have children's content, you have an open live chat, and somebody just comes in and starts dropping F-bombs. Again, it's going to be up to the moderator. It's going to be up to the creator to police their channel. But as far as any paranoia like this YouTube purge is going to happen, and all of a sudden it's going to be lawless, and then channels are just going to be snatched off the street, I really don't think that's going to happen. I know that's kind of how it was built up. But again, it's just one of those Trump era conspiracy theories. And I'm usually the one that believes in the conspiracy. But this is just one that I just can't bite, because in the year that I've been here, I've seen some wonderful things happen. I'm very proud of my channel. I finally reached 15,000 subs. Actually 15,200 in my first year. And I'm really proud of that. I realize that it is from 1 or 2 viral videos and not my everyday content. My everyday content averages between 100 and 500 views. So, I know what side of the bed my bed is made on, as they say. So, again, I'm no expert, but when the information is out here for us to research, let's get it from the horse's mouth. Let's not go to a third party and go with the he said, she said, because that's not only dangerous, but it's misinformative. All right, now I do encourage everybody that's left in the chat to network. I think I've rode my soapbox long enough tonight. Again, my best advice is use common sense, be respectful to people, and look up the rules for yourself. Look up the rules. Look up the regulations, so that way you don't have to be in fear of losing your hard work, because it does take hours to create content. As Naylove can tell you, as a content creator that not only created for YouTube but also for her own website, for the work and research that guys like my buddy The Truth does. A couple other people that aren't here tonight. My boy Boxing Logic United puts in hard work on his channel. Nobody wants to put in this hard work and then just have it all go away. All right, SD says that's not that many subscribers, watchers. It's that no one is reporting her or others. With complaints, the channel be X. There are child groomers like Onision that still have channels. Ooh, wow. Naylove said, I think this YouTube purge is going to happen. Most of the content creators were under 1,000 because they're so easily disposable. The cost to store video content is astronomical. Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about that. How many servers and how many, hard drives or whatever, how much data it would take to house that many videos. And if you've got a 10-second clip of your kid running a touchdown from 8 years ago, and you have an actual channel slot lined up for that one video and that one video only from 10 years ago, does it really need to be out there? Like, you showed your son running a 10-second touchdown. It was 10 years ago. It only got 25 views. I can see pulling that from the platform. Matter of fact, I would vote to clean those up. But if you're creating content actively and you're active on the platform, you're watching other people's videos, you're active in the community, then no, I wouldn't take your channel because you're valuable. Truth says, yes, Slide, you're right. Nothing will happen to YouTubers. The money is all they care about. I've seen YouTube ignore court orders. I bet you have. Especially dealing with old Essie Berry. Hey, Hot Anime Girl, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate you. I just subbed to your channel, and I encourage everybody else to do the same. Go ahead and start putting out some content so that we can share it. And I really appreciate you stopping by. Truth says, I hope YouTube does that. I'll start a class action suit against YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, Google, Facebook, these conglomerates, they don't really care about us at all. All they care about is their bottom line. They say as long as they can have some pink or purple haired person representing the platform that doesn't like guns, doesn't talk about abortion. We're not going to discuss those things. We're not going to talk about euthanasia. We're not going to talk about medical science. We're not going to talk about any of those things. We're just going to keep, just talk about fashion and Kim Kardashian and whatever. They say it's just the dumbing down of society. They really don't want the thinkers out there to make people think. They don't want us to have a place where we can actually find solutions to problems. They just want to give us the fluff and just sell it to us the way they always have. Give us the same old morning show routine, the same thing you see on The View, the same thing you'd see on those breakfast shows. That's what the Rachel Ray type stuff. That's what they want to give us. They want to make this all commercialized and make it TV. Hey, Kitty, you have a great night. Thank you for stopping by. I'm about to shut down this chat myself. SD says Patreon and Twitch are profitable, which they are. Twitch is coming up, man. The gaming that's going on over there, like the tournaments and stuff, are for like millions now. I remember they could barely get $1,000 for a win. Now they got like $1 million pots. So yeah, it's getting really big. Truth says Patreon's good for adult content, but most content on YouTube is not profitable. SD says YouTube is Google. Lawsuits won't faze them. They can prolong things until the end of time. That's true. Naylove says they're openly, blatantly defying the law and are constantly being sued. Just like Facebook. How many times has Mark Zuckerberg had to go before Congress to explain himself? Whether it was fraud during the elections, Russian influence, bots, all of that stuff. And then he's still profiting off of all of it and start new platforms, Instagram, and all the other ones that are attached to Facebook. So yeah, as long as there's a dime involved, a guy like me, they'll railroad me out of my channel tomorrow just for being too outspoken. So I'm ready for it. I say, YouTube, do your worst. You know, as long as I was able to come on this platform and have fun and meet the people I did, and that was enough for me. And I'll continue to do it as long as they allow me. You know, in the new year, I plan on creating more new content. I may do the midnight ride once or twice a month instead of every week, because I really want to start opening up to other content. So, you know, again, I look forward to seeing what the new year has to offer. But yeah, guys, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. But again, thank you so much for stopping by. The Truth, Naylove, SD. Betty White, troublemaker. What's up, homie? Yeah, guys, this was an interesting chat. I'm glad you did stop by. I hope that the information we went over tonight was useful. And I hope it dispels a lot of the rumors, lies around these channels. Again, I see people making arbitrary rules for their chat that aren't necessary, creating rules that they heard from somebody that heard from somebody. That doesn't really amount to anything. Be mature, be adults, care about each other, love each other, and do the right thing, and you don't have to worry. Again, it's your boy Slide Jones. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. I'm out. Peace.